So, Wuthering Waves version 2.6 has been out for a couple of days now, and people have been pretty, happy with it, and it's been a pretty decent update. But obviously, one thing that we know that Wuthering Waves likes to do is pay attention to a lot of these small details that are going on in the game, in the trailers, and everything around it. Obviously, including this one situation, which if you guys saw the other day, essentially they had to actually re-upload the trailer for Augusta due to the fact of there being a consistency error in the actual video itself. And they had to re-upload the entire thing to YouTube, which was pretty crazy due to the fact that they left out this one tacit mark. Obviously, I think it was the fact that she didn't have a tacit mark since like birth or whatever. So again, well, no, she did have a tacit mark since birth, but it didn't obviously include it in the old trailer. So they had to update it and actually add it, and obviously some artists or whatever forgot to draw it. So again, it was just a small mistake, and they actually managed to fix it and actually potentially ruin the kind of algorithm of their trailer in order to keep it detailed, which I thought was really cool. And obviously, people saying I thought she didn't have a tacit mark at the time, which obviously people then went and said she had it since birth. So not gonna lie, I thought she didn't awaken a tacit mark until teen years, until I saw a child form. They're saying they're still improving from misspelling to this, which yeah, obviously they have tried and they've been trying over the past couple of months to improve misspellings and stuff. But also you have stuff like this, which I'm glad that they did go back and change it, because it would have been very easy for them just to leave it up and just be like, oh well, this is getting picked up by the algorithm, so we might as well just leave it for now and just kind of rectify it later. But no, obviously they wanted to change it, and they're very attention to detail. And another way that they're very attention to detail is through the actual textures in the game. And if you don't know, obviously since 2.4 they've actually introduced this small update to the grass and to a lot of the kind of textures. And as you can see, the grass actually interacts with the character much better than it used to, providing a more kind of realistic feel. Now this looks insane. This is some real insane graphics, and I think that honestly it's going to really help to bring Wuthering Waves up in terms of graphical capabilities and things like that. But obviously, we know that Wuthering Waves, it wants to be this kind of gacha game which exceeds a lot of graphical kind of feats in the gacha gaming community, because there is not many gacha games out there who kind of attempt that. There's not very many gacha games who try to make their game look as high quality as possible, add as many physics as possible, to make it essentially as immersive as possible. And obviously, as I said, we see that outside of Wuthering Waves as well, in the sense that they do go back and fix these small details, which a lot of people wouldn't even notice in the first place. But obviously they wanted to keep it consistent. I mean, even me personally, I didn't even know that in the first place, that was a mess up. Like whenever they announced, or whenever I saw it come off my YouTube that they'd re-uploaded it, I was like, wait, why have they re-uploaded? And they said, oh, we made a few changes. I was like, well, what change? And obviously that's whenever we saw it with this post from Naoshiro, and also there's a couple comments also parroting the same thing. But yeah, obviously it's a very interesting kind of thing, because again, the detail is very important to them, and they've included that in their gameplay too. But obviously a lot of people are not very happy with the fact of this kind of stuff happening, due to the fact of it providing a much more, I guess, harder time on their devices. If you don't know, Wuthering Waves is a game that is on very many devices, including obviously PC, PlayStation, and also mobile. Now, you can probably see the issues with grass moving about being on mobile. Now, I don't know if that is an option that they do have on mobile or not, but obviously a lot of people with low-end PCs are also experiencing some kind of, problems with graphics. And I've even experienced it with my own PC. I've got a 3060 Ti. I've got a pretty decent computer, I would say, that is, can run pretty much anything. But I found my PC running extremely hot when running Wuthering Waves at about a medium kind of setting. I don't want to put it on low, because again, obviously, I want it to look good. But even at a medium, it's running like I'm, rendering literally every single file on my computer. Like it's crazy how fast it runs whenever I play Wuthering Waves. But again, I think a lot of people are also facing that issue, with lower spec PCs. Obviously, I'm quite lucky in the fact that my PC can handle that. but a lot of people cannot obviously handle that with their PCs. They got lower end PCs, they got a laptop maybe, or maybe they've even got a mobile phone, which obviously it becomes much harder for them to kind of deal with a lot of the grass graphics that we see to this day. And obviously, although it's like one of these things where it's great that we do have these graphics and we have these details and things, at the other end of things, people are not very happy at the fact of, you know, how much graphical performance this actually you know, puts on a lot of PCs. Obviously, people saying updated grass physics. There's also other environmental updates in this patch, like suspension bridge having physics on it, which, yeah, obviously is interesting. But again, I'm pretty sure this is a setting you can turn off. I'm pretty sure from what I've seen. So they just added what they already had to other objects, to be honest. The suspension bridge effect and such is just the same concept as the mushrooms or whatever in the fishing area. So I just want to be able to run on the lowest graphics possible on my phone, like I used to before 2.0. But I could easily get 60 FPS, but now it's just straight up unplayable, you know. So, well, there goes my IdeaPad Slim 3i integrated graphics. Says Kuro, please let me turn it off. It said go to settings and turn off interactive environment, something option in graphic settings. So obviously, yes, you are able to turn this off in the settings, and that is extremely good. And that is a great way that people can deal with that. But as you can see there, a lot of people do not know about, you know, being able to turn the setting off and just live with the fact that, you know, the grass is deep frying their computer, which I think is pretty crazy. And obviously a lot of people have been getting pretty mad about it. And at the same time as well, not just the grass, but there's also been many other optimization updates and updates to the overall quality of the world, which I do think has been pretty interesting as well. I think that, you know, obviously it does bring down the overall, I guess, performance of a device, not, you know, that are not turn offable. I don't even know what I'm saying here, which are not able to be turned off, which obviously is a big problem. And obviously, I think that is something that maybe Wuthering Waves does need to address in the future in terms of how they allow people to play the game at a decent graphic set, but also at a decent performance. For example, on PC, I would say this, no, as on mobile, sorry. I feel like this is mainly targeting people with obviously low-end PCs and also with mobile phones who maybe are a little bit lower on the kind of specs as well, which I think would be very interesting to see if they could add some kind of low latency, low performance, whatever version of the game or version of the settings so that they can then run it smoothly. Because again, I think that Wuthering Waves, me personally, I've never understood people that play it on mobile. Obviously, you know, if you are playing on mobile, good on you, that's great. But at the same time, I've never understood playing on mobile just because of how laggy it is, at least for me. You know, I've got like I've got a Samsung, like I got like one of the newest ones. It's like a Samsung S24. Obviously I think S25's out now, but it came out like 2 months ago. This isn't an old phone, you know, this is something that should be able to handle it, but at the same time, you know, it still can't. And this is one of the newest phones, you know, which I think is pretty crazy. So again, I do think there is the state of like, you know, mobile gaming for Wuthering Waves not being the most optimized, which obviously many people mentioned in the comments as well. So yeah, it kind of brings up the question, like, do we want to go full PC route with Wuthering Waves? I mean, I don't think they will, due to the fact of it being a gacha game, but I do think it should be a conversation that could be brought up, because again, it could allow them to further optimize their kind of game for PlayStation and for PC to create the, you know, graphics even better, even more optimized, and even more performative than before, so that while also not worrying about mobile and how they're going to deal with it, which I think is obviously providing a little bit of a constraint on Wuthering Waves, although to be fair, it doesn't seem like it's providing that much of a constraint with them adding stuff like these grass physics. So again, obviously I do think it's interesting. I think it's a just an interesting conversation to bring up, because again, many people have many different kind of arguments and opinions about you know, the physics and the textures and everything detailed that they add into Wuthering Waves, because again, some people really like it, they like the detail, they like being immersed. Some people hate it due to the fact of performance reasons. Some people hate it because they just don't like the look of it. So again, let me know down in the comments what you guys think about this, because again, I'm very interested in what you guys have to say in terms of this, and whether, you know, this is a problem for you, or whether you think that adding more textures, adding more details like this will actually be a you know, a good thing for you and the game. Again, I want to know what you guys think about that. But yeah, that's probably all for this video. If you guys did enjoy it, and don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Also, go to GameSubs, use my code CASA, get 10% off again. We got a ton of really cool stuff over there. I definitely recommend checking it out. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Also, see ya.